What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today we are going to take a look at a fake or a custom CJ Stroud downtown, and we're going to talk about how much this person paid for it. They got scammed, things that you should be looking for when purchasing a downtown to make sure that you are buying one that is legit. And we're going to look at a bunch of other one-of-one cards that I am not a fan of and other details that have collectors excited about cards that I am just not a huge fan of, and other reasons why Panini, Topps, and Upper Deck are taking advantage of collectors and making a bunch of money off of nonsensical things that they are putting out into the sports card hobby. Now, I did want to spare this person's identity, so I am not going to put their name on here, but I am going to show you this post that I came across on Facebook. I'm going to put the picture up here too so that you can take a closer look at the CJ Stroud downtown. The person put on here, I bought this card on Facebook and I am fairly new to this hobby. Looking at the bottom left corner, it looks blurred / double printed almost. Thoughts? Thank you. First of all, anytime that you're buying a sports card or anything in general, you need to do your homework before you buy it. You should not be buying something if you don't know that it's legit or real or whatever it is that you're questioning. You should be able to identify and figure out before pulling the trigger. Well, that's not what this person did, and I am going to tell you that they paid $750 for this card. I have to imagine that this is what roughly in the ballpark of what the normal CJ Stroud downtowns go for. Usually these customs you can pick up for $50 to $100. If you're a fan of these cards, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with these. If you're someone that likes the design but maybe can't afford to spend $1,000 on a CJ Stroud downtown, I totally get it. This is a good option for you. It looks cool in a display case like this one behind me, but this one, there are many ways to identify that it is not legit, and these are the things you got to be looking at before you shell out $750. So go ahead and take a look here, see if you can figure out the things that are maybe wrong with this card. The first thing that you want to look at with these downtowns, though, is the front picture. Anytime you can get someone, if you're purchasing this card like through an eBay or a Facebook or something, have someone send you really good pictures in good lighting. Try to have them send you a video if you can also where they maybe rotate the card slightly so that you can see the front and how reflective it is. From this one, you can clearly see with the lighting in this picture that there is the hollow or the refractor portion going all the way through the image across the front. The real downtowns do not do this. It's usually just the borders and all the way kind of around the main picture there in the center. The picture itself is not holographic, so if you can see that going all the way across, that is red flag number one. And then obviously the pictures of the back here, you can see exactly what this person was talking about. In the lower left-hand corner where the Panini logo is, you can clearly see that it's kind of a blurry or double-stamped image there. Everything about this just seems off. The other thing is that someone's selling this on Facebook Marketplace. If they're selling it, or I guess it doesn't say Marketplace, but usually these are listed on Marketplace. Or if you find someone on Facebook, make sure that you do a really thorough job of questioning them and asking a lot of questions to get the right details that you need to be able to identify whether or not this thing is legit before you pull the trigger. I do feel bad for this person spending $750. I think there were some, as you can see, there's quite a few comments on this post. I think there was some dialogue about whether or not they used like a goods and services to try to get their money back, to try to refund and get to make a claim against this. However, it's not technically selling a counterfeit, or your story that they're selling a counterfeit and so you weren't aware of what you were buying may not hold up when trying to get a refund, because there are people that are allowed to sell custom cards. That's, again, kind of getting into a gray area, some specifics I'm not going to talk about today, but just make sure that you're doing all of your research first. Be very thorough. Try to buy cards that you know are 100% legit from Panini, so that if you are buying it for resale value or for grading, or just because you want an authentic sports card, make sure you're doing it. But this does come to another point that I wanted to make about these also that really kind of irritates me. So I mentioned a little bit earlier that, if you're buying this card just because it looks cool, that's awesome. The fact that someone can make something that looks almost exactly like a downtown for a fraction of the price and be able to sell these customs for like $50 or $100 is another reason why sports cards prices are just like so overinflated right now. Panini and these, major manufacturers of sports cards should be able to put these out at a price point that is a lot more reasonable for all collectors. I mean, these downtowns are not anywhere near as rare as they were back when they started coming out, like in 2016, 17, 18, 19. Those ones were a lot harder to pull. These ones are pretty common now. I don't know if it's one per case. I think that's usually about what it is. But being able to pull one of these cards out of a case of Donruss or Optic, whatever you're chasing this out of, should be pretty affordable. You shouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg for this card. Now, obviously, his values are going to be higher because he's a rookie quarterback and he just won a playoff game. But I think they should be a lot more affordable. You shouldn't have to pay $1,000 to get your hands on a downtown. That's why I say if you need to buy a custom or something just because you think it looks cool and you want to put it in a case like this on the wall, there's nothing wrong with spending like $50 on it. But I don't want you guys to get scammed either and buy something like this for $750. It's a complete waste of money and a waste of time. This next one I'm going to throw up on the screen too. Again, I'm not going to blast the person and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I just thought it was kind of ridiculous. I always think that it's kind of stupid when a card is like numbered out of 25 or out of 10 and people are putting that it's like a pop 1. I mean, if a card is numbered to 10, there's only 10 of those cards out there, so the max population can only be 10 anyway. You don't really need to tell us it's a pop 1 if there's a PSA 10 and there's like one PSA 9. I mean, obviously they're going to be low pop anyways, but people are just kind of grasping onto all other things. The jersey number thing kind of drives me crazy too. If it's a Tom Brady card and you get 12 out of whatever, it's more sought after because it's a jersey number or whatever, or first print run, bookend, 10 out of 10 or 50 out of 50. Etc. That kind of stuff drives me crazy. This person takes it to a whole new extreme here, so I'm going to throw this up here so that you guys can see it. But sucker for details, he says, so maybe this is just his OCD coming out. 23 out of 25. This is a 2022 Chronicles Tom Brady Black PSA 9, numbered 23 out of 25. And that is significant for this person because Tom Brady played 23 seasons in the NFL. So we're just taking this to a whole new level. It's getting kind of ridiculous. Okay, now moving on to some Upper Deck here. We're going to talk about this one. I was once at the National Sports Card Show and picked a hobby box of Upper Deck hockey. If you haven't seen this, I made a previous video on it, but picked an Upper Deck hobby box of hockey, mouthful, with 2 autos per box on average and pulled 0 autos. Talked to them at the National, and they ended up sending me 2 autos that were a combined value of like $3 in the mail, so way to really make it up to me there, Upper Deck, for a $300 hobby box I bought. But anyways, this card comes out of Upper Deck hockey as well. This is called Tonight's Lineup. I thought this was a really, really dumb card. Another way that card manufacturers are just trying to sucker you in and sell you anything that they possibly can. So check this one out too. It's a 1 of 1, of course, because everything in today's market needs to be a 1 of 1 so that way they can say that it's rare, even though it's not, because there's billions of these things out there. This one, though, so you can see the picture. It's a group picture, a celebration after a goal, I assume. We've got 3 players in view, and then you might notice in the center of the card here, it has the name Irwin written down. So apparently, there's actually a slot in that card, and just like there would be a piece of memorabilia, that is a piece of the lineup sheet for the game where Irwin's name was written, and now he has a card that is a 1 of 1 because of that little piece of paper that his name was written in for the lineup, which they've got one for, I'm guessing, every single game that they play. This is just crazy. It's not autographed by the player. There's nothing really special about this at all. They use this for every single game. I mean, I guess it could be compared to like game-used memorabilia in some way, like a jersey or a stick, but I would much rather have those things knowing that the player touched it and used it in a game, and it kind of ties me to the event a little bit more. This has nothing to do with the player whatsoever, so having this card as his 1 of 1, if I'm a collector of this guy, I don't know that this really does anything for me. I think it's totally stupid, but of course they stamp 1 of 1 on it, and now it's rare, and it's probably worth like $5,000. So one more type of sports card I do want to talk about that I have never been a huge fan of, but people seem to really, really gravitate toward these things. They seem to bring a lot of love in the hobby. They're pretty expensive to buy. They're tough to get your hands on. I haven't seen a lot of them in the wild. I've seen a few of them out there, but have not seen a ton of them. People show them off in like 1 of 1 sports card groups on Facebook and stuff. But check this out. I'm going to throw this other picture up here too. So these are like the Team Gems cards. Another one that drives me crazy only because they have really nothing to do with the player or the team or any significant event that was, surrounding this team or that they participated in. They have little pieces of gems in the cards. There's like diamonds and rubies and like all kinds of different stuff that are embedded in these cards. They come out of Flawless, so it's a higher end product. Obviously, these are like a chase card for a lot of collectors. I don't really understand why the value is so high. I understand why these cards are cool because they've got like the different gems and stuff in the cards. But like you'll get some of them where it's literally just the team logos and that's all it is. It's just a logo of, they'll just throw out a team name like the New England Patriots or the Atlanta Falcons or whoever. It doesn't matter. But it has no significance at all. I mean, it literally has one of one stamped on it or printed on it, and then there's a gem in the card, and it has the team's logo. I don't understand that, why it's a collectible thing and why people like those. A lot of people gravitate toward these, though. There's also ones with specific players. I've seen some of the Brady one-of-ones out there. There's like Michigan ones. There's Patriot ones. I mean, they're kind of cool, I guess, just because they're different. It's not something that you see a lot. Again, as a collector and someone that wants to be closer to the actual sporting events and the people that we idolize in these events, like the quarterbacks and the Tom Brady's of the world, I would want something that's like game-used memorabilia, whether it's a football. I even have the field goal post Tom Brady cards from when he competed in the Super Bowl, a jersey, a stick if you're a hockey fan, a basketball if you're a basketball fan, or even the piece of their shoe. I mean, that's a pretty significant piece of memorabilia if you're a basketball fan. So I think there's a lot cooler things that can be done. Now, maybe the prices of memorabilia has risen over the last few years also, so these manufacturers aren't able to buy as much of the game-used memorabilia as they want to be able to include in these cards. So now they're just coming up with other stupid ways to appease collectors and give you something to chase after when you're spending like $3,500 on one box of Flawless, I guess. But I don't know. I guess that's just me, guys. Hopefully you like this. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe. I've had a few other couple videos drop lately, so hopefully you guys enjoyed those. I'm going to try to make some more content like this. If you guys have any other ideas for things that I should do videos on, please let me know, and I will catch you next time.